That's the SGX Nifty down 31 points. Crude's been a big factor. That's on the boil once again, 64 now on crude. Yesterday also the rupee, after opening very strong, actually ended at the lowest point of the day. By the way, just there's one more cue that we should have put on board. Yesterday was the last day of Lok Sabha, and Mulayam Singh Yadav made a very interesting pitch. That actually got everyone talking, and that's very interesting because UP is going to be the decider, and that way things could get really interesting on the political front. Anyway, let's address today's market. Ashwini Gujral, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar now join us. Good morning, Ashwini. How would you approach trade today?
Well, good morning. We're going to open somewhere near 10,750 on the cash index. I would think there is a possibility that you do get some what of a pullback. Any pullback in the region of 10,800, 820 will probably give you opportunity to take fresh shorts. I think still 10,600, 650 is still to be done once we broke this 10,800. So possible that today is a bit more choppy, and after the early morning gap down, you actually have some amount of buying. But overall, it looks like the lower end of the range will come at some point.
Okay. Good morning, Sudarshan. What would your call be, and more particularly on the Nifty Bank?
Good morning, Lata. Well, my call has been steady and the same for many days now. The idea is that the markets are going down, and we were going down when the US was outperforming, and the chances are we will go down when the US starts stalling, which it should do. Of course, crude and other things simply add to the pressure, that's all. So the view still remains that for the entire month of February, I suggested maintain a core short position. Don't disturb that. Let the market go up, let it come down, let it become choppy. Maintain that short position. That continues. We should have a short position in the Nifty, and yesterday's terrible Bank Nifty performance tells us that now shorts are justified very easily in the Nifty Bank also. What it was a little bit of outperformance simply vanished yesterday. So that's the theme. This is not a day trade. You must be a positional trader for this series at least. Intraday, if you get an opportunity, you should only look to short the market.
Okay, so look to short the market if you get an opportunity intraday. Mitesh, hi, good morning. Is that your stance as well? I mean, after almost a 600-point fall that we've seen over the last 6-7 days, you reckon that there could still be further downside in the market and it's worth shorting?
Yeah. Good morning. So we've been kind of calling for declines to about 10,750 levels. I think we might open there today. Eventually, I do suspect that we will not only test 10,660 but even break below it and possibly test lower levels. Sub 10,500 is what I'm looking at. But having said that, last 5 days of decline in today's gap down opening around support area. The Nifty will open around 10,750. The Bank Nifty might open around 26,800, 750 zone. So both of the indices are close to some pivot areas. My sense is that today could be a day of short covering and a pullback if we don't see follow through immediately post opening. So in that sense, shorting, I think, on rallies would be a better choice around 10,830, 850, those are closer to it at least. And for the day, I think the initial idea would be to cover profits or to take profits on your short positions.
Fair enough. Sudarshan, good morning. What's on your list in terms of individual stocks?
Yeah, but then I should now simply say that Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav is a very wise man. So with that statement, all right. Mostly mid-cap selling. I'm so sorry to say this again and again every day. Mid-caps haven't finished their selling. They're going to bear the brunt of the decline, which is likely to come in February and maybe in the beginning of March. This is a traditionally weak month or a set of weak months, mid-March, till mid-March. Godrej Consumer Products is a short sell. Look at the chart. Consumer companies are going up. Dabur, Lever outperforming. This one is falling day after day relentlessly. That's a short. BEML is a short. BEML has a relatively better chart, but a sharp decline tells us that if this is a correction also, there's more downside left. Apollo Tyres, this terrible chart, CEAT, Apollo Tyres, both of them, they are now at their lows. Something is going on there in tire companies which we don't understand, but we should be shorting them. That's 3 mid caps to short. Tech Mahindra is a buy, at least it's an intraday buy. And Indigo is a buy. Indigo, every dip in Indigo should be bought into.
Okay, and today there are some flight cancellation news, and so if there's a chance also that it might fall. You spoke about Apollo Tyres. In fact, anything connected with auto has not been doing too well. Prominent among them being Ashok Leyland. Ashwini, you have a further sell on Ashok Leyland.
See, this level of 80 was very key, and once that BS4 news had happened, this was the low. So if it's breaking, key lows, then there is more downside. And for the moment, if you see any auto stock, all rallies get sold into. So Ashok Leyland is a sell with a stop of 81, target of 74. PNB is a sell with a stop of 73, target of 65. If this crude boils, I think Bank Nifty is likely to have 2 or 3 really bad days. BEL is a sell with a stop of 76, target of 70. Tech Mahindra is a buy with a stop of 800, target of 835. And Hexaware is a buy with a stop of 360, target of 376.
Okay, and Mitesh, what about you? What are the stocks that you would be buying or selling this morning? And how do you approach a stock like Yes Bank?
So a couple of things. One, I think, I have more sell calls, but as I said, I think the index will open around 10,750. In case we don't see follow through, I think I'll be nimble enough to cover them very fast on the short side. Coming to Yes Bank particularly, that's a stock which has come back to its support zone of 150, 170. I think, somewhere around these levels, I would expect the stock to arrest the decline, maybe closer to about 160, 155 zones and head back to about 195 odd levels. I think we would see some weeks of many weeks of consolidation between this 200 to about 160 range before, and that will be a good bottoming formation going on in the stock. Coming to my stock picks, BPCL is a sell with a stop at 335. Look for targets of 318. Colgate is a sell as well. Keep a stop at 1267. Look for targets of 1215. And Gas Authority is my final sell call. That's a sell with a stop at 322. I would look for targets close to about 301 here. And solitary buy is on Hexaware. That's a buy with a stop at 362 for targets of 380.
All right. Well, let's ponder a little more over Yes Bank shares, and then we will come back to you, gentlemen. That stock could rise very sharply this morning after the Reserve Bank's audit report yesterday said that it didn't find any divergence in the bank's asset classification for FY18. Reserve Bank does an inspection after the year is done. Krishnan ASV of SBI Caps Securities joins us on the phone line. Krishnan, how would you parse this news? Is it good to push the stock up, what, 10%?
Yeah, hi, Latame. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, so very clearly it's a huge relief. And, confidence booster to investors that one of the biggest overhangs other than, MD succession was around what kind of a divergence risk there could be. So, what is the risk of alignment, etc. So to that extent, once you put it to rest and actually come out clean in terms of saying nil divergence, if that's what the RBI report is essentially citing, I would think it's a huge boost of confidence. It should open gap up is our view. Yeah.
Okay. But what do you do after the gap up opening, Krishnan? I mean, for long-term investors, because a lot of the overhang is now out of the way, would you recommend, to be positive on the stock? And what would your long-term target price be?
Absolutely. So we have a buy hitting on the stock. Our target is close to 315. More importantly, I think this takes them one step closer to, regaining regulatory credibility, regulatory confidence. The next stop is obviously Growth Capital, because they are operating on a very thin capitalization ratio right now. So at some point of time with the new MD joining in, I think Growth Capital will need to be addressed. Once that is done, I think visibility improves, and very clearly, I think the re-rating would be sharper. But at this point of time, this is where our numbers are. Our base case does not build in any equity raise right away.
So your price target was, sorry?
315.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a tall number. Krishnan, since we have you with us, a word on DHFL, the fact that the CEO has resigned as MD and CEO, but retains, I think, Executive President Retail Operations. Will the market take this news negatively?
So DHFL, we wouldn't be able to comment, Lata. But in general, I think I think NBFCs are in a bit of a tight spot right now. So it's no wonder that you're looking for some leadership churn. But having said that, DHFL specifically, we wouldn't be able to come.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Resigns is not spelled correctly. Thanks a lot, Krishnan, for joining us. We have to take a quick break. Thereafter, we are going to be joined by more experts. Devin Choksi of KR Choksi Investment will join us.